Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your baby girl again, MonnyLagos, and I'm here with another exciting video. You know the vibe already. And if it's your first time stopping by here, my name is MonnyNola. Make sure to subscribe before you leave. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for always coming back to watch my videos. So today I've come to you guys with a very important video. And as you can see by the thumbnail and by the title, I'm going to be telling you 10 mistakes to avoid when renting an apartment in UK, especially as a student. So I understand that you're coming from Nigeria, you're coming from any other country, and you're trying to get a place in the UK to stay as a student. This video is particularly for students because that's the highest volume of people that are coming into UK at the moment. So before we get right into the video, of course you already know that this video is sponsored by Amber Students Home. Amber Students Home is a company that helps students get accommodations in UK. Basically, that's what they do. They have accommodations all around UK in different cities in UK. Over 30 cities in UK, they have accommodations there, and I'm sure you can see on the screen already how you can go about getting accommodation with Amber Students Home. Understand that when you're booking accommodation with Amber Students Home, you're transferred to a representative or a customer care person that's going to be speaking to you on behalf of your landlord or whatever. It's always very important to let this person know where you're at your planning and where you plan to be and what you plan to do, right? It's always very important that they know, so that they know how to help you with whatever issues or whatever difficulties you're facing. So I have a list here just so I don't forget things, so pardon me if I'm looking down. The first thing is avoid last minute. So yeah, of course, I understand that you have a lot of things that are going on. You're trying to do your Form A, you're trying to be sure of your school timetable, know where your school is. So basically, as much as you're trying to plan all these things, plan ahead also for your accommodation. So avoid last minute so that you get good accommodation and you get it at a good price, and you're not what's the word, you're not pressured into getting something you don't want to get or something too expensive. So avoid last minute when you're booking accommodation as a student and you're coming into the UK. Second thing is avoid not paying deposits. So yeah, you might be skeptical about this apartment, and that's why I always say that whenever a representative of Amber Students Home reaches out to you, you can always speak to them. Like, they reach out to you via WhatsApp, via email, whatever it is that's comfortable for you. Amber Students Home is very legit, and if you use the link from my description box, the link in the description box now, I'm 100% sure that you're not going into a scam page. I've never had any issue of any scam coming up to post at Amber Students Home, but if you book through the link in my description, I'm 100% certain that it is the representative that is working with them that is speaking to you. So when they tell you to pay a deposit to secure your accommodation or to pay a deposit to hold your space for you, they know what they're saying, because there are a lot of people that are trying to book. So if they don't have any form of commitment on your end, they're going to give the accommodation to somebody else if the person has commitment. So that's why they always ask you to to pay a deposit of a particular amount depending on the accommodation and the area where you're trying to book in. The third thing on my list is not talking about your guarantor. So when you reach out to Amber Students Home and you're trying to get an accommodation, they pass you over to a customer care representative or an agent that you're going to be speaking with throughout your journey. And when they reach out to you like that, and some people always come back to me and say, oh Money, I'm not sure about this, I'm not sure about that. But if you book through the link in my description box, I'm not saying go and book through any link you saw online, the one in my description box, if you book through that link, I'm 100% sure that it is not scam. I've not had any issue of scam or 1% scam or anything like that. I've never had that issue. So with that being said, I was talking about guarantor. So if you don't have a guarantor in UK, it's very fine. You can always tell your agents that, okay, or the person you're speaking to, that you don't have a guarantor. They'll give you an option depending on the landlord. They can give you an option to pay 3 months upfront, 6 months upfront, or they might give you another option that maybe you pay another deposit that is more than normal, which is fine, because they're just trying to be sure that you also are not being scamming them, because this world now get as be, but you get what I mean. So if you if you don't have a guarantor, please tell your agent. They'll give you an option depending on what the landlord agrees to. The first thing on my list is not getting accommodation close to your school or close to your work. Most likely school, because most people I'm talking to now are students. Now, if you're a student and you're trying to get accommodation, get an accommodation that's close to your school. The reason being that you're just adjusting to the environment, you're just going to school, you don't know your timetable yet. You don't want to get an accommodation that is an hour or 2 hours away from your school, and then you're having to commute that long to get to school. You get, so just get an accommodation that's close to your school, which is always advisable to get an accommodation in your city, and not only in your city, in a place that's close to your school, because some cities are very big. In a place like Manchester, if you get an accommodation somewhere, you can literally think you get an accommodation in Manchester and it's still like an hour to your school or something like that. So like, get an accommodation close to your school so that you're not missing out on anything, and you can always, spend time in school when you need to and still get home early enough. The fifth thing is making payments late. So if you already said, oh, you're taking the accommodation, if you finalized payment, making payment late might be an issue, because like I said before, if you don't pay and then they get somebody else that is willing to pay for that same accommodation that they were supposed to keep for you, they're going to give it to the other person, and that's just business for you. Like, you cannot, there's no commitment, there's no commitment, you're not giving them any commitment for them to know that you're staying. Even if you paid your deposit and then you're making payments and you're getting late with it, they have the right to ask you, oh, what's going on? And if you don't have a reasonable reason, it's possible for them to actually return your deposit to you and give it to the next person. So please don't make payment late. Don't procrastinate those things. Next thing on my list is not having a budget. So this is very important. Before you even start looking for accommodation already, know your budget and have a realistic budget. Don't have budget that you know that will not get you a house, but you're there thinking, oh, I should be able to get a house. Like, there is no way you're going to pay £100 or £200 per month in this country. I've not seen. So like, have a budget that is realistic. Have a check online, check the, what's it called, minimum what rent in the area where you want to rent, and then just know, don't just have a budget that is not thinkable of. Like, you need to have a budget that you can work with, and the agents can also help you work with, so that when you're checking the website, it's easy for you to like streamline your options. The next thing I have for you is not viewing. Now this one is very important. If you want to get an accommodation, you can always ask your agent for a virtual viewing. Okay, maybe you're not in the country, you're in Nigeria for instance, and you want to get an accommodation, you can always ask your agent for a virtual viewing, or you ask them for a video of the apartment, or you ask them for pictures. Although pictures and sometimes pictures are always available on the website, and sometimes videos. But like, if you still want more, you can always ask your agent, and they are going to be willing to help you get that, whether a virtual viewing or a video. They will always want to help you out with that, so you can always ask for it. Next thing is not making research about the environment where you're going to stay. This is also very important. Like, make research about the environment where you want to stay. Know what works in the environment, the transportation system, how you can like commute within the environment, the shops around there, if it's easy for you to get shops and get to the bus station, all those things. Just make findings about your environment, and that can be done through Google Maps. Literally just type the area in the on Google Map, it's going to come up, and then you can see the things that are around there, just so you know where you're moving into. Also, not finding out the cost of living of that place, which is very important. Also, know the cost of living of the area where you're going to stay, and this should start from when you're picking your school. Know the cost of living of the area where your school is before you even like go around the route of accommodation. You get what I mean? So it's just so life is easier for you when you move into the UK and you're not like struggling to like make ends meet. The last thing on my list, which is number 10, is not booking with Amber. Yeah, this is the greatest mistake you can do. Don't book your accommodation with Amber, because at the end of the day, you're not going to be struggling and be stressing about every other thing. So please book your accommodation with Amber and avoid all the stress, avoid all the hassle. You are going to have your own customer service person that's going to be talking to you, and all you need to do is just speak to the person, let them know, okay, this is what you have, this is what you're trying to work with, or this is the area where just talk to them. They are willing to listen and they're willing to help you out. They will help you out as much as they can. Literally, they will try their best and help you out. So yeah, with all that being said and done, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to book your accommodation through Ambassador's Home. You're seeing on the screen now, there's a screen recording showing you how you can go about it. Use my link. I know if you like, I use any other link you saw online. Don't come and ask me, because if you ask me a question and you say, okay, want to happen, I'll ask you, please, can I see a screenshot? And my name and my photo, guys, they that screenshots. If not, I'm not going to answer you. So yeah, book your accommodation through Ambassador's Home. Let's see you again in my next one, babies. Take care of yourselves and have fun. Bye.